Okay, sports fans, here we are once again with some weird German tanks. This is, we're going to be calling it the Storm Panzer. Help me out, Adam. What is it called?
This is the Storm Panzer IV Brummbar.
The Storm Panzer IV Brummbar. And like several other tanks that we haven't talked about yet, is built on the Panzer IV chassis. Last week we talked about several variations that were built on the Panzer III chassis. And this is the Panzer IV chassis. So we are going to be talking about the Brummbar. And it's actually turned out to be a pretty cool tank.
In 1942, Albert Speer placed an order for a howitzer mounted on a tank chassis to keep up with the Panzer divisions. Alkit would be the one to receive that request for a design.
Now, Alkit is the manufacturer or the builder of it?
Yep, the designer. So Alkit would design the Brummbar. The Brummbar is not its original name. Its original name is Sturm Panzer IV, as it's built on the Panzer IV chassis. But the Allies would call it the Brummbar, and Brummbar means roughly grumpy bear or grouchy bear or grizzly bear, depending on how it's translated.
All right. So, being on a Panzer IV chassis, does it have the V12 Maybach engine in it?
It sure does. It's got that Maybach 12-cylinder V12 with 296 horsepower.
And, so it probably clip along pretty good, though.
Yeah, it'd clip along about 25 miles an hour.
What? How many crew? Crew 4, 5, 6?
Crew 5.
Okay, so they just this looks like it have a little bit more room than the standard tanks, because they wouldn't have the turret that had to be go around in there. So probably.
Yeah, it was a little bit roomier than the Panzer IV, so probably more comfortable for the crew. Although I'm told it was only ventilated by those back vents, which you can take a look at in a little bit. So only convection vented, so it could have gotten quite hot in there.
Okay, so you're talking about the vents back here?
Yep.
On the above the engine compartment there.
Yep.
Okay, and then so they'd also have probably an escape hatch here, so they could open up the hatch there while they did it. So it was more heavily armored than the standard Panzer IV. It had up to 200 millimeters of armor on it, and on the sides it was 120 millimeters, which is almost double as the Panzer tank. So it is a cousin to the Panzer IV, and so what we're going to do is, here is our Panzer IV tank, and here is a Brummbar, however you want to say it. And you can see that they're built on the same chassis. And do we have a weight on the Brummbar?
We do. The weight on the Brummbar is 28 tons.
So it's 8 tons heavier than the Panzer IV, and all of that would be in probably armor and the other plating. Yeah,
and that armor would actually cause a lot of problems. The Brummbar, they were able to make about 306 of them, but they did struggle with being able to drive and function because of that extra weight on that chassis.
Oh, okay. So it had kind of the same problems like when they went the heavier tanks.
Exactly.
With okay. All right. So anyway, there's the comparison of the Panzer IV and the Brummbar. As you can see, they're very similar. Same bending back here. They're the same width. They're exactly the same tank except for this shell. And so that shell came back down. And now let's talk about armament. That's the biggest difference here. This is more like a Jag Panther. What's the size of the armament on the Panzer IV versus this? This was a 105 millimeter howitzer they put in here, and it didn't have a lot of other supplementary machine guns or anything. In the later versions, they put the 7.62 ball-mounted machine gun up here on the side, but they didn't put it in these earlier versions. So this is a model of an earlier one. So.
Yeah, so the Panzer IV would have a 7.5 centimeter pack, pack 40, I believe. Yeah, pack 40. And this would be double its size with 15 centimeter Sturmhubitze 42, I believe.
So this is a 75 millimeter and 115 millimeter?
150.
150. Wow, exactly twice the size. So that's had a pretty good punch in it. It looked like the length of the barrel would be fairly short range, though. That's about it, really. You got the development of this kind of a weird-looking tank that the Germans had a propensity to do, but it's more of a hunter-killer type of tank. And did they talk about what the main purpose of this tank was?
Yeah, so it would be really similar to, if you remember our Sturm Tiger video. It was primarily to blow up buildings in an urban environment.
Did you say Sturm Tiger?
I did say Sturm Tiger.
Oh my gosh. Now, is this, what's this? This is a Sturm Tiger.
Sure is.
Okay. Now, this is basically the same thing that was built on a Tiger chassis, which of course is a lot bigger, heavier tank. This is off of a Panzer IV, and this is off of a Tiger tank. So obviously this is a lot more heavy duty, but they only built, what, 18 of the Sturm Tigers, and they built
306. Yep.
306 of the Brummbars. So obviously this was probably a more successful tank. The Brummbar, kind of a fun little tank. I didn't, until we got into these things, I didn't even know these type of tanks existed. There, you always heard of the Panzer tank or the Tiger tanks, but you never heard of a Brummbar, never heard of a Sturm Tiger. But and here's our fun little Panzer IV. Okay, you got anything else you want to add to this video tonight?
No, I think that's good. I think when we first did our Sturm Tiger and we were kind of looking it up, we saw that Brummbar, and I knew we'd have to talk about it at some point.
And we were able to find one and buy one, so that's kind of fun. All right, well, without further ado, subscribe, damn it. Bye.